Hi family, hi family. This is Dr. Mo with Moya Body Care and Colon Hydrotherapy, and I am your favorite colon hydrotherapist that practices the sacred art of colon hydrotherapy, herbs, and natural living. I wanted to take a moment to talk about a conversation that I had with a new client yesterday. Completely threw me for a loop. So this particular client, um, new client, she's young, she's in her 30s, like early 30s, under the age of 35 if I'm not mistaken. um she knows about the wellness field. I think she dibbles and dabbles in the wellness field. She has a regular 9 to 5 job. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. She's just a young lady moving through life and understanding like who she is and what she wants to do, dating and traveling, the regular stuff that you should be doing at the age of 30, 35, right? And so she says she's been getting colonics, for some time before she met me, which is totally fine. And I always share with my new clients that I am in a totally different category. Like, if you don't recognize who you are, people will lump you with everybody else. And I share with everybody, I understand that you've had a colonic with other therapists, but you've never had a colonic like this. And they go, oh, okay, whatever. And then when they get in there, their eyes are like this, and they're like, whoa, what's happening? And I say, well, I thought you had a colonic. And they go, well, wait, this is not, wait. I thought you said you had a colonic before. So this was the same situation. I get her on the table, and the way in which I handle you is a process that I've termed the Moya method, because I understand that it's not, the experience is just not the same. It's not. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the way that I hold and move my clients through a colonic session. And so she had been constipated for some time. I want to say for a couple of weeks. She's been like severely constipated with very minimal releases, which is not normal for a woman who is very healthy and she's young, she's in her 30s and she's vibrant. Something is off here. And so we'll get to that later. But once I started working on the abdomen and really working on her cecum area, she had like 3 major full body intense releases on the table through the tubes. That's what a colonic is. A colonic is not, you insert the tube, you insert the water, then you get off the table, and then you go and dump in the toilet, then you come back and you sit down. That is an enema. A colonic is a consistent flow of water, depending on what unit you're using. If you're using an open system, it'll be a consistent flow. If you're using a closed system, it'll be an open, closed, open, closed, open, closed, meaning that the water is flowing in and then the waste flows out. The water flows in, then the waste flows out. You're physically on the table having a solid bowel movement on the table, or not physically on the table, but moving out of your body into the tube, into the unit, down into the sewer line. That is a colonic. If you're getting up, going to the restroom after your practitioner fills you up, you're receiving an enema. You can do those at home. A colonic is something totally different when you surrender and you move beyond your limits that you set for yourself. People, what are these therapists doing out here? I was like, they wasn't trained by Moya Body Care, that is for sure. And she looked at me, she's like, Mo, this is a totally different experience. So she had 3 of those very large, very full, very dark, plenty of gas, I have to say, by the way, too. A lot of air moving out of her. So she did that 3 times. Now, after the 3rd time, the body starts to calm down and starts to ease up from letting go, because you don't need to release that much, that often, that quick. It's too soon. It's just too fast. The body has amazing checks and balances so that you don't pass out, right? You don't need to be a glutton in this situation where you're just taking up all kind of space. You just kind of do it with reverence. You do it with ease. You do it with simplicity. Nothing needs to be forced or over consumed or overly processed. It just does. That's something else that we need to shift, right? So we get her from the treatment room to the restroom. She's not in there for very long because she emptied a good amount of her colon during the colonic, which you should. That's the whole point of the colonic. She comes out of the restroom and she's like in complete like shock. And I'm like, are you okay? Is everything fine? Would you like a glass of water? And she looks at me. She's like, nothing came out. I said, yeah, that's okay because you had a very full release during your colonic. That's what's supposed to happen. She's like, well, that's never happened to me. Well, what happens to you when you get a colonic? She was like, oh, nothing happens on the table. Everything happens in the restroom. That was not a colonic. I cannot tell you what that was. I'm so grateful that I am able to be in a position to open people's eyes to a new level of healing that has been available to them and for them from the beginning. From the beginning. And we had a lovely conversation about, she's like, this is something totally different. She's like, now I understand why you were talking to me the way you were talking to me. She's like, So I looked at her, she looked at me, and I gave her a hug. She gave me a hug back. And we hugged. And she booked another appointment. All I'm trying to say is, healing comes in so many different shapes, forms, and fashions. Colon therapy allows you to move past the so-called barriers that you have put in place for protection, for guidance, for support, for whatever reason you put these barriers. Colon therapy allows you to softly bring those barriers down to a state of zero threat. Once that particular client realized that there's no threat, I don't want anything from her, I'm literally going to support your body. That's when her colon opened up, and then she just started letting go, and then it hit her emotionally. She went through this whole like crying period. She's like, what's happening? I said, alignment. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and sip on my coffee, get ready for my first client. And I know today is going to be just as magical. So really quick, I just want to say that a colonic does happen while you're on the table. It does not happen in the restroom. If you are ready to experience that, definitely my private office is located in Torrance, California. My website is Moya, MOYA, bodycare.com. I am Dr. Mo, and I'm your favorite colon hydrotherapist that practices the sacred art of colon hydrotherapy, herbs, and natural living. Until then, stay hydrated. Mwah.